How's it going, everybody? This is Carter from Bigger Than Bikes, coming at you with a bit of a different video today for a couple reasons. One reason is I have been seeing in the comments that you guys have been wanting some more informative style videos, why I'm doing certain things and what I'm doing while working on this bike. And second reason is I am stuck. I've been spending the last 2 to 3 weeks trying to diagnose why this bike is not running correctly, and I am frankly out of ideas. I have gone through everything I can think of. I've torn this bike down, torn the carburetors down, feels like 15 times now, and I can't seem to get it to run right. So putting this video out there to hopefully inform some of you guys and maybe even get some help. See if you guys could figure out what's going on here, because I cannot. So the main issue that I am having is that this bike will only run on 2 cylinders. Looking at the bike as if you were sitting on it, there are 4 cylinders, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it is only running on the middle 2 cylinders, 2 and 3. So my first thought during the diagnosis was these bikes run on 2 different coils. The first coil sends spark to cylinders 1 and 4, and the second coil sends spark to cylinders 2 and 3. So my first thought was the coil's gone bad. Which is an easy fix, but to test that theory, I went ahead and swapped the coils. So the one that was sending spark to 2 and 3, I now had sending spark to 1 and 4, and vice versa. So after I did that, the bike was still running only on cylinders 2 and 3. So that led me to believe this was not a spark issue. I have never had issue getting spark to 1 and 4. Spark seems strong throughout all 4 cylinders, doesn't seem to waver at all. So that led me to believe it might be a fuel problem. So I have dove into these carburetors, feels like so many times now, just to make sure they're all clean. I'm by no means a professional carburetor rebuilder, but I've rebuilt a fair share of carburetors, and these seem perfectly fine to me. I cannot see why the engine would not be getting fuel. On top of that, when I pull the spark plugs out after it has been running, the spark plugs on 1 and 4 are wet with fuel. So it seems to me like the engine is getting fuel from the carburetors. I've tried 3 different types of pilot jets. The stock is a 35. I've tried 38s and 40s. Seems like the 38s and 40s, it runs better, but it still is not firing on cylinders 1 and 4. So that then led me to believe maybe a valve issue. So I went through and checked all my valve clearances, and I had 2 valves that were 0.0005 thousandths of an inch, I think. Something like that. Out of spec, which is very minimal and should not cause a not running issue. So I did order some valve shims for that. So hopefully I can get that corrected, but I'm 99% sure that is not my problem. I also went ahead and just replaced both the coils because I figured they were 44 some years old. So good idea to replace those anyway. Got new spark plugs. Like I said, been through the carburetors. So the last thing I checked was compression. I figured if it's getting spark, it's getting fuel, last thing's compression. So I did a compression test, and all 4 cylinders were within 3 psi of each other. So that is kind of just where I've been the last 3 weeks. Doing seems like the same 3-4 things over and over again, because it seems like if all these things that I am seeing and diagnosing are correct, it should be running, but it's not. So I'll go ahead and quick fire it up here for you guys, so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So as you can see, the bike is obviously not running right. And so here is the spark plug out of cylinder 4. And you can see it basically looks brand new. But it is, I don't know if I can show you here, but the top of it is wet with fuel. So it seems to be that there is fuel getting into the engine, but for some reason it is not sparking. So I'll just show you guys here how to check to see if you're having spark, and show you that this does have spark. So here I just have the spark plug plugged back into the spark plug boot. I'm just going to ground it here on the engine. And you should be able to see here when I turn the bike over that there is a small spark going between the electrode. So as you can see, it does seem to be getting strong spark. And yeah, it confuses me that this is, it looks the way it is, because I also had a thought that it might just be out of time, but if it were out of time, then this spark plug would still be igniting fuel. It would just be at the wrong time. But this spark plug does not look like it has ignited fuel ever, since it was brand new plug. And I've had this bike running for a decent amount of time, just on 2 cylinders. So yeah, it confuses me that it looks the way that it does. So everything that I have discovered so far has led me to believe that spark is okay, the air is okay, so it must be a fuel issue. That's why I've been through these carburetors many times, but something that makes me think it's not a fuel issue is what I'm about to show you right now. And that is, I have cylinders 2 and 3, the spark plugs, unplugged, and have the carburetors open. And so what I'm going to do is just spray some starting fluid into carburetors 1 and 4. And then I'm going to try to start the bike. And there's nothing. So that leads me to believe it's not a fuel issue, it's not a spark issue, and it's not an air issue. So that is where my knowledge kind of ends. I'm not quite sure what to do. If you guys have any ideas, please drop them in the comments. I'm open to trying anything at this point. Really excited to get this bike out and ride it, but just can't do that right now. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. like I said, if you have any ideas that could help, please drop them in the comments, and hopefully we'll have this thing running soon. Thanks. Bye.